Hi, welcome to the demo video for NoteSlider, an application for the iPad that will convert a series of Evernote notes into a slide presentation. In front of you, you have the Mac desktop client for Evernote, and I have a slide here. It says Introduction to NoteSlider for Evernote, an icon there. And each one of these notes is a slide, and then let's click on this slide right here. This is an outline of the presentation. We say what and why, title slide, that is a note link to the slide I just showed you. The next one is a note link to another slide. And then we have an optional bulleted list of talking points we want to make. Notice each section begins with a horizontal rule, and then we have colors on the section titles, and so on. It's very simple convention that is used by NoteSlider to prepare a slide presentation. Now let's close this. Now I've synced this iPad application with that series of notes you were just looking at. The way it found the notes is that the outline note was tagged with the word NoteSlider. So that's how it works. It looks for a single note with the tag NoteSlider. That is an outline note, and then it parses all of the note links to create slide presentation. So let's go to the presentation. The first thing is the first slide. Notice the fade in transition there, and the background color here, it's the same as the color of the font for the section title, and we can apply various gradients. I'll show you in a moment. I'm not going to read all these slides. You can pause the video and read the details. I'm just going to show you the features of the app. We can click the next button and go to the next slide. Notice we see a different transition there. We can skip ahead. I can look at this one, the next slide, and I can click show this or go back to where I was. Notice the audience's view is not changing while I'm exploring here. This thumbnail at the bottom shows me what the audience is seeing. What is NoteSlider here, this green slide. So let's say I find one here, these seeds I want to show. I click show this, and then that becomes the current slide. And then I can proceed with my linear navigation. So you don't have to go in order. Notice a different transition there. We have some colorful labels here. This came from a Sketch shot, the Sketch application. I wanted to show that to point out that any application that creates Evernote notes can essentially create a slide. Let's go to the next one. And this describes a typical workflow. I'll let you pause the video and read that. But basically, you make notes, you tag the outline note, sync, and then you add effects. So let's look at the effects. We go to the Effects tab down here, and we can add a dark right, which it is now. We can change the light. You'll notice it get darker on the right-hand side there as I do that. Instead of sliding in, we can zoom in. Let's say I wanted to see what that looks like. There's two ways I can do it. If I'm not hooked to an external screen, I can use the pinch gesture and see it on my iPad as it would appear on the external screen, or I pinch to get rid of that. If I am connected to an external screen, as we are right now, you just click on this thumbnail at the bottom and it will reload our slide. We can see how it looks and see if we like that. Let's go to the next slide. Anything that can make a slide, or anything that can make an Evernote can make a slide. The next slide is an infographic, and the last one is a web page. Infographic. Notice we have the scale a bit off here. I forgot to adjust that. Let's go ahead and do that. And again, you can scale, or excuse me, you can scroll while you're giving your presentation to show your audience different sections of your Evernote slides. And lastly, on the last slide, any web page can be an Evernote slide. I showed you that outline in the beginning. Let's go to the outline right here in NoteSlider. Click on the NoteSlider tab and you see your outline. Now, all of these are Evernote note links, but notice the last one is a slide link. Let's just click it there. You can see that's the same page there. Let's go back to the outline. So you have your outline here. You can read through if you want to practice your talk. Let's go back to our slide. Now, again, the second screen, the thumbnail shows you what you're currently on. and you can cruise around and look at other ones while the audience is looking at the current one. You have a series of talking points. Those are the bulleted items in the outline. You can add notes. If someone asks you a question, you can add notes. And again, all of these settings are saved in the Evernote cloud along with your slides. You can add effects, and lastly, on the Evernote tab, you can launch the Evernote client on the iPad for this slide. For instance, you could edit a spelling mistake and then click Resync, and you're good to go to show this slide again. Finally, we have our rewind button there. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoy exploring NoteSlider for Evernote. Be warned, this is beta. I've been working on this for 5 weeks. Got a lot of testing to do on the parsing, syncing, and the screen logic. So thank you. Hope you enjoyed.